After some bad weather yesterday, it's all sunshine this afternoon, which means we can finally play ball and resume the series between the Smoke and Adelitas. 2 games in, it's been all smoke. The reigning champs have run-ruled Hub City twice, and today, the Smoke look to continue their league dominance. Coming to you on the official WPF YouTube channel, Brant Freeman alongside Bill Colhane. And the weather pushed the series back, Bill, yes, but there's no pushback for the Smoke. An impressive 9-1 start through 10 games.
Yeah, overnight, the Adelitas are hoping some of that rain can cool off the Texas Smoke, who have been playing so well. Big part of the story has been Janae Jefferson, the second baseman, 5 for 6 in the series, 4 runs scored, has 6 RBI, a couple of doubles, and an inside the park home run on Friday. She has been just one of the stories.
Yes, she has. Another story has been the pitching so far for the Smoke. A 5-inning shutout for Samantha Shao on Thursday, and then Autumn Pease on Friday. Today, the ball belongs to Jordan Dale out of Forest, Virginia, a former Oregon Duck, 4 seasons in Eugene. Before that, 1 year at Virginia Tech in her second season with the franchise and part of last year's championship team. A look at the batting order for Hub City. Sierra Bryant again leads off. She'll be followed by Destiny Brown and Daisy Munoz here in the first inning. This is an offense that has really struggled. Only 1 run scored over the last 4 games.
Yeah, you look at the comparison. The Smoke have pounded out 12 extra base hits through the first 2 games. The Adelitas, meanwhile, have a double in each game in the first 2 games of this series. And even when Hub City, they've gotten people on the past couple of weekends, haven't found a way to get them in. That has to change today.
So far in the series, they've been outscored by the Texas Smoke 25-0. As Bryant steps in to start the game here. Sierra Bryant 0 for 4 in the series. This is a bat that has to get going for the Adelitas to have a chance. She hit really well in this ballpark last week, 6 for 13. Has been on base just once so far, 2 games in.
And that was part of the recipe for success for the Smoke, is to keep Bryan and Brown off the bases, and so far mission accomplished.
1 ball, 1 strike as she faces off against Jordan Dale. Sierra Bryant, before the game, was presented with her championship ring, one of 3 Adelitas players that were on last year's title team for the Smoke. Bryan, Lexi Handley, and Destiny Brown all got their bling earlier today.
Yeah, you saw Brandon Phillips, one of the owners of the Smoke down there, and tremendous appreciation by all involved. Even though you're wearing a different uniform now, possibly, you can't erase the memories of a season ago. You mentioned Sierra Brown last weekend. It was the middle 2 games, was 6 for 7 in games 2 and 3 against the Monarchs. And she does it all. She can bunt. We've seen power.
Yeah, had a home run against the Monarchs last week. There a look at Brandon Phillips, the Smoke and Monarchs team owner, along with his wife, Jade Cargill, current WWE superstar.
Belated happy birthday again to Brandon Phillips.
He was with the Smoke last week at Coastal Bend when they celebrated his birthday with a victory and hit 3 homers that day.
And that's something that the Smoke have done so far this series. Talk about home runs, 5 of them in the first 2 ball games.
Brandon Phillips himself, his time as a major leaguer, hit 211 homers. A career that spanned 17 years.
He could hit it, but he could field it as well. You go look at some MLB highlights, and Brandon Phillips is in a lot of them.
Sierra Bryant goes around and strikes out. So far, strikeouts for this Smoke staff have been plentiful. You look at what the staff has done so far in the series. That's now 14 strikeouts and just 3 walks so far through a little more than 10 innings.
It's really been past the baton for the Smoke.
So nobody on, and one away for Destiny Brown. Out of Macomb, Mississippi, 2 for 5 in the series with a double.
It was 2 for 3 on Thursday, and then on Friday, 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs. Right on cue.
That ball's popped up. Is it playable? The answer is yes. The catch is made by Elizabeth Mason behind the plate today for the Smoke. 2 up and 2 down for Dale to start the game. So when the base is empty and 2 outs, going to bring up Daisy Munoz here for Hub City. The Adelitas come in with a record of 2-8. The Smoke 9-1. Hub City 3.5 back of third place Coastal Bend. Or a game and a half back of Coastal Bend. 3.5 back of second place Texas, the Monarchs. That series done, by the way, wrapped up on Friday due to the bad weather coming into the Corpus Christi, Robstown area this weekend.
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers to everybody there in the path of Hurricane Beryl.
Fly ball hit out towards center. Gooden going back at the track. Looks and it's gone. There's the first one of the series for the Adelitas. A 2-out solo bomb for Daisy Munoz. And the Adelitas on top early.
Munoz, of course, we know she's got the ability. She's got the pop. And I think that pitch a little bit up in the zone. And Munoz got the barrel to it. Took it right back the middle. Yeah, that was up. And Munoz got it up.
Hub City pitcher Lexi Hanley earlier this week retweeted something from Kat Osterman in which she said, look, Kat saying, this is a PSA, a public service announcement. Outside rise balls often get hit very hard. That pitch, a little up and out of the zone, and Munoz didn't miss it.
Yeah, just dropped the bat head and off it went. Munoz did that early and often in her days at Cal State Fullerton.
You might be wondering why the player here not wearing the same uniform set as her teammates. That's because Taylor Ellsworth new to the roster. Ellsworth just got brought in yesterday. Taylor Ellsworth from Georgetown, Texas, so grew up not too far outside of San Marcos, just north of Austin. Played for the Longhorns for 4 seasons. Wrapped up her college career at Arkansas in 2022. An impressive college career between her time in Austin and Fayetteville. A career .326 hitter with 30 homers and drove in more than 140. And in that final year as a Razorback, set career highs with 14 home runs, driving in 53. Foul back for strike 2. She was a 10th overall pick of the NPF, National Pro Fast Pitch Draft, by the U.S. SSA Pride.
And that's one thing to keep in mind as well, the difference between this and the college game. As this season goes along, you quite possibly see teams make adjustments in terms of personnel. And it can be for a variety of reasons.
That's a foul ball grounded to the left side. Yeah, so the college game, which you and I are so accustomed to covering, you don't really have roster additions throughout the year unless you take the red shirt off of somebody. But this is the pro game. There's free agency now.
Precisely. There's a long way to go in the 2024 season. Even though the Smoke are out to a blistering start, I think to a person, everybody in the Smoke organization would agree that the hay's not in the barn yet.
There is a stipulation for this game, by the way. This is game 3 of what is supposed to be a 4-game series. Full count, Ellsworth draws a 2-out walk. So there will only be a 4th game, meaning a second one today, if Hub City wins. If the Smoke wins, it'll be a 3-0 series, and they'll call it a weekend and get ready for next week.
Gonna have a visit in the circle here after the home run by Munoz, and Ellsworth a nice at-bat in the first at-bat in an Adelitas uniform. Didn't expand the strike zone.
This is Jessica Jacobson in the circle visiting with Jordan Dale, former pitching coach at UConn and currently the head coach at William Patterson University. Also visiting with Elizabeth Mason, the battery mate. 1-0 game. So it's 2-out offense here for Hub City.
Yeah, it looks like we're already going to get some activity down in the Smoke bullpen as walking down there. You talk about a great bullpen. Jayla Wright is headed down there along with her bullpen catcher Raquel Miller.
And They're a look at right, this year's ACC Pitcher of the Year. Speaking of the ACC, Jordan Dale, who's in the circle right now, has coached against Jayla Wright because she's currently an assistant with Pitt and the Panthers out of the ACC. Now to the plate, Peyton Lopez, and she's ahead of ball to no strikes.
Here's another Pennsylvania reference, by the way.
Now Pittsburgh, I know.
They're playing a lot of softball up in the Keystone State.
Yeah, they are. Wasn't as familiar with Swarthmore. That rolls away to the backstop. Another base for Ellsworth, or the pinch runner, I beg your pardon, in place of Ellsworth. That's Destiny Brown.
You know, because of what you just said, and today was getaway day regardless, Hub City would be heading back the 380 miles to Lubbock. You wondered what the mindset would be for the Adelitas, and at least early indications are they've come to play.
This team needed to respond, but they needed to do so early, right? I mean, they didn't want to fall behind and then try to chip away at the lead. They needed to establish a lead of their own, and to the credits, the Adelitas have done that.
Put a little pressure on the opposition, right? Let's be honest, the Smoke through the first two games, it's pretty much been cruise control in many respects. Now, give the Smoke credit because they kept the pedal to the metal, but never really have felt pressure through the first two games.
Right now the batter, Peyton Lopez. Hitters count 3-1. Lopez, so far in the series, has been productive, 2 for 4 with a double, and that'll fill the count.
You wonder what conversations took place at team headquarters up in Austin for the Adelitas overnight. You would think that some of the leaders on this team, like Brian, for example, you know, what was said between teammates.
And Lopez, does she offer? She does. That call confirmed over third base by Jared Arrington. A strikeout for Dale, her second of the inning. But the Adelitas have staked an early lead. Daisy Munoz, a 2-out solo homer. Good for Hub City's first lead of the series. We go to the bottom of the first with the Smoke batting for the first time here in San Marcos. Good to the start today for Hub City is Allie Lights, looking to turn the fortunes of starting pitching, which has really struggled in the series. The starters so far, Chloe Temples and Lexi Hanley, have given up 16 earned runs in just 2 innings of work. But Light pitching with the lead. Adelitas on top 1-0, courtesy of the Daisy Munoz solo homer. And Light will face off against today Jefferson to lead off the bottom of the first. She'll be followed by Silent Rain Espinosa and Savannah Jaquish. That trio, back-to-back-to-back home runs, part of a 10-run first inning on Friday. And in the case of Jefferson, hers inside the park, not the only inside the park home run of the league this week. Laywood Day for the Texas Monarchs, an inside the park homer in the win over Coastal Bend on Friday.
Yeah, you'd expect, I think, Jefferson to get an inside the park home run, but not necessarily Day.
Jefferson going opposite away, and that's going to drift foul. And the count runs to 0-2 to Janae Jefferson.
We saw Light in the series opener on Thursday, went 2 1/3, gave up 4 runs, 5 hits, a couple of walks, and 2 strikeouts.
Light from Lexington, South Carolina. Began her career in the SEC, then moved over to the West Coast, finishing out her career 3 stellar years at San Diego State. Kind of a cool story, too. She and her shortstop, McKenna Brocky, teammates together with the Aztecs. Those two key pieces of a program that went to the NCAA tournament each of the last 3 seasons. Jefferson takes, and that'll even the count, 2-2. Light, 2-time All-Mountain West Conference tournament team. And this past year, won 12 games in the circle and had a sub-3 ERA.
I think we said it earlier in the series. Former San Diego State Aztecs don't have to change their team colors.
That's true.
You see Light out there with her red shoes on.
And Brocky, her shortstop's got the black cleats on.
Jefferson, by the way, if you weren't tuned in, go back and pull up the video. As she arrived at home plate, she pulled off the matrix, a move to elude the tag of the catcher Lopez and arrive safely. The throw beat her, Brant, by easily 2 or 3 steps.
I love the reference, by the way. Any Keanu Reeves movie reference, you can sneak into a game, I'll take it.
You know, the other night I thought maybe Sugar Ray Leonard, how he'd avoid an uppercut. But it was something to behold. Go find it, folks.
If you could work in John Wick somehow, I'll be really impressed. Count remains 2-2 to Jefferson. So the Smoke have won 6 in a row. Within that 6-game winning streak, 4 of the wins, run rule victories, and they've outscored their opponents in the 6-game stretch 55-10.
That's a very good run scored versus runs against ratio.
Trailing for the first time of this series as Jefferson continues to battle here against Light. And the offense, as Bill described, has been lights out. 25 runs scoring on 26 hits, 5 home runs. And as a team, with runners in scoring position, they are 14 for 27.
6 doubles, triple thrown in. Bruni almost hit one out of here. Ended up with a triple. Ball going off the top of the fence.
Jefferson smokes that to right center. That's going to reach the wall. Jefferson on her way to second base, and my goodness, has she been lighting it up at the plate in this series. She's on with a leadoff double.
So deconstruct that at bat by Jefferson. She kept fighting off pitches, getting her timing, and ultimately she ends up with her 3rd double of the series, ends up with her 4th extra base hit through 2+ games. Amazing.
So as a team now, the Texas Smoke up to 13 extra base hits, 7 doubles. As Southern Rain Espinosa takes a strike. And what was really remarkable about the win on Friday, the 14-0 run rule victory, of the 14 runs scored, 13 came with 2 outs. That bounces in the dirt and then off the gear of Ellsworth, so Jefferson is going to advance to third base. You go back to that 10-run first inning we saw on Friday. Just incredible, but there was some controversy about it too. There was a play out in center field. Sierra Bryan was playing in center at the time. Now we see Destiny Brown. Looked like she made a diving catch. In the replay angles we saw, I didn't see the ball touch the turf. I thought it landed just in her leather. But Lyndon Baptiste made that call as Espinosa hits a fly ball towards left center, and a diving catch made by Destiny Brown will bring in Jefferson to tie the game. But what a play made by Brown.
Amazing play, full extension and then some by Brown as that ball was falling quickly. I know we'll get another look at it. I mean, look how far she had to range to her right. Perfect timing. I'm going to add this piece, though, Brant. Jefferson, the runner at third, did a tremendous job of reading the play, didn't get off the third base bag, made sure that she was on the bag in order to tag up and come in and score. Sometimes runners assume things, and you know what Jeff Spicoli said once upon a time about assume? Or was it Mr. Hand in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
All right, the references are getting a little bit too obscure for me now.
But, you know, all joking aside, you've seen, I know, time and time again where a runner will think, boy, there's no way that the center fielder is going to make that play. I'll trot into home. And then all of a sudden you find yourself having to retreat, and sometimes it's too late to come in and score.
You know, I almost said out loud about the word assume and what you're getting at there. Caught myself.
It's a family show.
1-2 to Savannah Jaquish. So we were just talking about, a controversial non-call in center field on a diving catch, and then Brown, right on cue, makes one of her own. But after that non-call, I think 6 more runs scored. Part of that 10-run first inning as Jaquish goes down looking. Good pitch there from Light down to the zone at the knees. First punch out for Light and 2 down.
Yeah, Jaquish, you saw her reaction. She didn't like that at all. It looked like it got a lot of the zone, and nice job Ellsworth giving Lyndon Batiste a good look at it. Yeah, I go back, Brand, if you want to hit the rewind button on this half inning. Think about the wild pitch that allowed Jefferson to go from second to third. Maybe she doesn't even get to third on that fly ball by Espinoza.
And another 2-out run scoring as well for the Smoke, as they've done so many times in the series. Charlotte Eccles batting with the bases empty. And 2 outs in a 1-1 game. Here's a fly ball hit out towards right. Shy of the warning track. The catch made by Casey Flores. But the Smoke have responded with a sac fly RBI. And with that, we go to the second inning. Each team a run on the board. Back after this in San Marcos. A look at the leadoff batter here for the Adelitas. McKenna Brocky was talking about her earlier. She and starting pitcher Allie Light teammates together at San Diego State. Relayed this story to you on Friday. Very athletic family. McKenna's sister Courtney Godot, all Pac-12 player at Washington, later playing for Team USA. Her mom, an All-American softball player at Cal Poly. And her dad, also a tremendous athlete, a baseball player who spent time with the Mariners organization and continuing the family lineage, playing at the pro level here with the Hub City Adelitas out of the WPF. 1-1 game as we head to the top of the second inning.
So far in the series, Brocky a single in each game, added a stolen base, losing effort on Friday.
Jordan Dale in the circle gave up the 2-out homer to Daisy Munoz, also struck out 2 in the first inning. Ground ball to the right side, backed up by Jefferson, and 1 down here the second.
Jefferson doing it with the bat, there the glove as well. Has been exceptional in each and every facet so far here in the 2024 season.
The bar's been set really high for Dale than any pitcher in the circle with the Smoke this weekend. The series began on Thursday. Samantha Shao, 5 scoreless innings, and got the win. She's now 3-0 in this ballpark this year. 21 innings for Shao, pitching in St. Marcus, just 2 earned runs. And then Friday, it was Autumn Pease, the reigning WPF Pitcher of the Year. 5 scoreless of her own, 9 strikeouts, no walks, and gave up just 3 hits. A wave and a miss by Flores. The count here 0-2.
Yeah, good change there by Dale. And think about the mindset of Hub City right now, as I realize we're just in the top of the second inning. But on Friday, the Adelitas trailed 4-0 going to the second. And as you've already pointed out, on Friday it was 10-0 going to the second.
That ball smashed to left field at a base hit there for Flores. Good piece of hitting on an 0-2 count. A ball left over the middle by Dale, and Flores smacks it for a 1-out single.
Yeah, Dale wasn't looking to get that much of the plate. And I'll say this, Flores, we've seen her now the past couple of weekends, and she's got some pop in her bat.
Hub City trying to snap a 6-game slide. The offense is in a really tough time as Majo Gonzalez steps in here. During the 6-game losing streak, the Adelitas have scored a total of 6 runs. And one of those games, they scored 5.
It's left on base has been a problem. And also the Adelitas have hit into a number of really killer double plays during that stretch.
And this series alone, they've hit into 2. And they've only batted in 10 innings.
I know the Monarchs last weekend, we saw back-to-back innings where the Monarchs executed 5-4-3 double plays.
That's lined towards the photographer here, Peter Vives. Peter's been a long-time photog in San Marcos, takes a lot of pictures for the Texas State softball program and other programs here. And that ball, good thing he's protected by the net. If not, he needed a new piece of equipment.
Or a glove. He's a glove there in his left hand. I guess I don't know how you would adjust the lens.
Gonzalez goes down swinging. That's the 3rd strikeout for Dale. And 2 outs now in the second inning. Good pitch there from Dale. And 2 down. Look back at this pitch here and good drop ball or changeup.
Yeah, it looked like she took something off of it there. Gonzalez way out in front.
9-hole hitter Emily Bracamonte. A position change for her. Bracamonte had been at second base majority of the series, all the series last week against the Monarchs, starting at third base today.
I think that's something you do as a coach when your team is struggling, is just try to change some things up, right? A different look to the defense. Maybe you do something with the batting order. I think for the Adelitas, it's clear that you're going to leave Bryan and Brown at the top. But other pieces you have to try to move around and kind of come up with a winning formula.
Foul back for strike 2. And you know this too, Bill. We talked at length last week with the Monarchs here, and Sarah Bannerford, the star third baseman for them, has played multiple positions at second base and at first. And, you know, these players have been playing the game for a long time. I'm sure they've played more than one position throughout their careers.
Hey, when you have 15 or 16 on a roster, you have to have a few players who have that position flexibility.
That ball belted to left and gone. Inside the foul pole, another 2-out homer for the Adelitas. This one off the bat of Emily Bracamonte. It's 3-1.
Boy, pull out the stopwatch. That thing got out of here in a hurry.
Wow, Emily Bracamonte, the former Toledo Rocket, before that Central Michigan Chippewa. And that ball, no doubt, just had to stay fair, and it did inside the pole. Went beyond the second fence, almost reaching the train tracks here.
As we got another look at it, the pitch was up, much like the home run we saw from Munoz back in the first inning.
Back to the top of the order, and there's some life in this team right now for Hub City. Again, trying to end this losing streak of theirs, and also playing to play another game today. Almost feels like a postseason scenario for Hub City. Trying to force the if necessary game.
As you and I know, and fans watching know, there will be a lot, and I mean a lot, of softball played here in San Marcos this upcoming week.
There will be doubleheaders of softball every day next week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Bryan fouls that one away, 1-2. Hub City will play a 4-game series against the Texas Monarchs, a rematch of last week's series. And the Smoke will have their rematch against Coastal Bend. Those two played last week in Robstown. They'll meet here in San Marcos for a 4-game series. Last week, the Smoke swept that in 4 games.
Take our viewers behind the curtain, Bran. Are you just going to pack a suitcase and move in up here?
Could be a long day for our few days for our crew, that's for sure. Bryan got a piece. That's a foul ball. So yeah, we'll have all 8 games for you next week here on the official WPF YouTube channel. The first game of the doubleheaders starting at 4 o'clock Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I believe the Sunday doubleheader is 12 and 3.
Going to be a tremendous celebration of the WPF, having all 4 teams here, that tournament feel.
Mm-hmm. A 1-out single for Casey Flores. A 2-out homer from Emily Bracamonte has put the Hub City on top 3-1. First time the offense showing signs of life in San Marcos as Bryan strikes out for a second time. But again, the Adelitas strike with 2 outs. Emily Bracamonte with a 2-run bomb to left. It's broken the 1-1 tie, and it's given the Adelitas a 3-1 lead. We head to the bottom of the second inning. Back in San Marcos after this on the official WPF YouTube channel. Allie Light again pitching with a lead. Her team scoring a pair in the top of the inning. A 2-out, 2-run homer hit by her third baseman, Emily Bracamonte. 3-1 Hub City on top. Team trying to end their 6-game losing streak and in the process snap the Smoke 6-game winning streak. And Bracamonte with a big swing. One of 2 homers the Adelitas have now hits on the day.
A team who coming in hadn't shown a lot of pop past couple of weekends.
Yeah, last weekend 4 games against the Monarchs, hit just 1 home run. Leadoff batter here, Morgan Howe for the Smoke. Should be followed by Jazz Hill and Elizabeth Mason.
All that's, kind of lost in that eruption in the first inning the other night, the 10 runs, is how her at-bat, where with 2 away, she was able to drive in Espinoza, had 2 strikes. It was kind of a seeing eye single right back through the middle. And after that is really when the floodgates open. But, you change one thing, you change everything. If Howe doesn't have her at bat, how does it go Friday night?
Mm-hmm. 1 ball, 1 strike for Howe, facing Lights on the ground. Good pick by Munoz and 1 away. Leadoff batter retired here to start the bottom of the second inning. Looking back at the series, and Robstown, the Coastal Bend tidal wave, beat the Texas Monarchs 2-1 in a 3-game shortened series. Both wins for the tidal wave were walk-off wins. In both games, Tatum Anzaldo scored the walk-off run. Kelly Lynch, a big series for the tidal wave, had a homer, drove in 4, and was the winning pitcher in game 2. Tate Whitley also with a homer for the tidal wave. Meanwhile, for the Monarchs, some of the highlights for them like the Smoke in a series of back-to-back-to-back home runs. Those came in the 6th inning when they were down by 3 as it came back to tie the game. Jazz Hill takes a ball up 2-0. Susie Brookshire, Kelly Torres, Jada Kearney with those 3 consecutive home runs, albeit in a losing effort. And then they won the finale on Friday in Game 2 of a doubleheader.
Incidentally, this is only the 2nd time this weekend the Adelitas have retired the first batter.
Now, you've used the word pressure quite a bit, you know, and that puts a lot on your pitcher and your defense.
Jazz Hill, she's been difficult to retire. Another great weekend for her.
Saw her leave the ballpark yesterday with her Texas A&M bag in tow, the former Aggie, 1 year at College Station. Before that, Arizona State. 3 for 4 in the series with a homer of her own, a double, and 3 runs batted in. Swing and a miss. Light with her second strikeout. 2 outs now in the inning.
A nice pitch here by Light.
Some of the best we've seen her pitch. We saw her last week against the Monarchs, struggled a little bit in relief on Thursday, but today, pitching really well. And now it's Mason, fouls off the first pitch, falls behind 0-1.
Yeah, and what's one of the differences? Light is pitching with a lead in this situation. Just a different focus, a different mindset.
And for the first time in a while, the Adelitas now have a chance to go to the plate with the lead to start an inning. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Boy, momentum's a funny thing, and I'm going to make a confession here. Full disclosure. So you and I did our intro, our welcome to the broadcast, and I said something to the effect of the rain kind of slowing down the smoke, putting out some of the fire. Who knows? That could have happened.
Yeah. Ground ball from Mason to third. Bracamonte up and fires and got it in time. Wow, what a play in the infield there by Emily Bracamonte from her knees. So she's done it with her bat in this game and now with her glove. A great pick of the hot corner here for the Adelitas. And Light retires the side in order. We've played 2. It's 3-1 Hub City. Coming up, second of this inning is Daisy Munoz, who perhaps has set the tone for the Adelitas today. A 2-out solo homer to dead center. Hit that off of Jordan Dale, the first run of the series for Hub City. They would score twice more on another homer in the second, leading 3-1 as we go to the third. So after 2 innings from Jordan Dale, Kat Tarvin has made a change in the circle, now turning to Jayla Wright, the former Duke Blue Devil. That takes over in the circle here for the Texas Smoke, trying to keep this a 2-run game.
One advantage the Smoke have over everybody in the WPF is the depth, the strength of the pitching staff. So a good situation here for the Smoke, not a good situation that you're down 3-1, but the fact that you can bring somebody into the circle like Wright, who can hopefully shut the door and give the offense time to get on track, because we have a long way to go in this ball game.
First appearance of the series for Wrights. There are 3 years in Durham with the Blue Devils, 44-12 her record, and a career ERA at an even 2. Munoz batting second of the inning. Leadoff batter Destiny Brown. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. So chronicle the outcome of the Coastal Bend Texas Monarch Series. Looking at the WPF standings coming into the day, the Smoke in first place at 9-1, a 3.5 game lead over the Monarchs, who are 6-5. Coastal Bend in third at 4-7. They're 5.5 back of first place, and then the Hub City Adelitas in fourth at 2-8.
That makes that this upcoming week, those 4 doubleheaders, that there's going to be some moving and shaking going on, possibly in the WPF standings based on what transpires over the next week.
That's fouled off, 1-2. So how about the Smoke, by the way? This is the third game of the series and the third different uniform combination we've seen. Saw the all reds on Thursday. Saw a new white jersey top.
With like the neon green lettering.
On Friday and today, kind of the Chicago White Sox style pinstripes.
And I can't say that I don't love any of them.
Yeah.
Really sharp.
I say White Sox here, not Yankees, because the colors, you know,
the
black and gray. Yeah.
And if you could throw in a Yankees reference, you would.
I will. They won yesterday, by the way. Rookie of theirs homered 3 times.
Rice, yeah.
Yeah. Got a curtain call.
Yeah, the first one was a no-doubter, right? A second decker.
It's grounded foul. Count remains, the ball and 2 strikes.
I'm not sure if we can get a look at the first base dugout, the Hub City dugout, but it's interesting. If we get a look here in a moment, Brian is actually at the top step of the dugout. And, for example, when Munoz was going to the on-deck circle, Brian was kind of giving her a scouting report. You would assume that Brian is familiar. There she is. You see her right there. She's familiar with these Smoke pitchers, and I wonder if she was relaying some intel.
Right now, you got Brown in a battle against Wright. Just getting a piece off the last couple of pitches here.
And, of course, what that does, Brown is helping her teammates. There's Brian. Brown helping her teammates by letting them see some pitches out of the hand of Wright.
Standing next to McKenna Brocky, just outside the dugout. Saw a lot of sweat pouring off the forearm of Brown. Temperatures right at about 90 degrees right now, which for the Texas summer, that's pretty cool. As Brown strikes out at a pitch a little bit elevated. Brown didn't like that call, but Wright, first batter she faces, gets a strikeout, and there's 1 down.
Yeah, nevertheless, that was a good at-bat by Brown. It's a pitcher's pitch right on the outside black. I think it could have gone either way. But Brown, again, was able to work deep in the count, and let's see if that translates to some success for Munoz and or Ellsworth.
Have to imagine it was a really proud moment for her head coach, Jamie Juarez. Juarez, an assistant at Cal State Fullerton. That's, of course, where Munoz played her college softball. So for the Sub-City team, you have former college teammates, now professional teammates, and a player-coach relationship as well right here.
Yeah, that's been one of the interesting stories as you and I have followed the WPF going back to our preseason preparation, is just see the relationships, the network, the love amongst so many of these players, coaches, and fans. We see fans, you know, coming to the games, and clearly they've been supporting their teams, the Smoke specific, I guess most specifically, for quite a while with the gear, the jerseys. You can see the fans interacting with the players.
A ball and 2 strikes as Munoz faces Wright for the first time. Jordan Dale giving the Smoke 2 innings, giving up 3 earned runs off 3 hits, 2 of those homers, although she did strike out 4.
You know how you have a to-do list, right? We all have to-do list, right? One of my to-dos is to get with Wright or somebody on the coaching staff. As you watch her setup, watch how she extends her glove right there. We talked about it a couple weekends ago, kind of points it towards first base.
The out secured on the throw to first base. That's the second strikeout for Wright.
So speculate, Brant, what's the reason for that?
Yeah, we talked about this last week, or when the Smoke were here 2 weeks ago, I should say.
Yep.
And perhaps some of that is just a superstitious thing for Wright. Maybe I think what you had wondered is it about balance for her in the
Timing
circle.
mechanism.
Yeah. Yeah, every batter pitcher has their thing. You know, we've referenced Major League Baseball between Brendan Phillips, the Smoke owner, and, you know, my Yankees fandom. Craig Kimbrell, as we see that ball lifted to the air to left, and that's down for a base hit for Ellsworth. On her way to second, going to put on the brakes, go back to first. She's on for the second time, so welcome to the Hub City Adelitas, Taylor Ellsworth.
Yeah, walked her first time in there, a no-doubter. Single right down the left field line. We do need to add, though, watch Jazz Hill, the left fielder, plays the carom perfectly, turns her hips, and fires a laser to second base to keep Ellsworth out of scoring position. That could prove to be very important.
Now, Ellsworth was lifted earlier for a pinch runner when she got on base. Not doing that here because that would mean she would have to be out of the game permanently. So the catcher is running here for Hub City with now Peyton Lopez at the plate.
Lopez, the past couple of weekends, has shown some pop in her bat. But again, because Hill was able to keep Ellsworth at first base, going to be difficult to get Ellsworth on a base hit.
So again, the reference I was making was that of Craig Kimbrell, Major League Baseball. Certainly what he does before every pitch, far more exaggerated than what Wright's doing here, but maybe something in the same vein. Lopez in the DH spot had been the catcher for the Adelitas the first two games. Good job by Mason behind the plate to keep Ellsworth at first. Counts 2-1. Also mentioned the weather earlier. First pitch on Thursday, temperatures 98 degrees. On Friday, 97. And today, by comparison, a very brisk 90 degrees outside.
And also a shift in the wind. The games on Thursday and Friday, the wind was out of the south, meaning blowing out towards left center. Today, the wind out of the breeze out of the north, blowing in towards home plate at the moment.
Off the plate, 3-1.
Big pitch here. A walk, of course, would put Ellsworth at second base into scoring position. Already ahead are the Adelitas, 3-1. That would be an important insurance run.
Already some solid two-out offense in this game for Hub City, leading 3-1. A 3-1 count, and that is a two-out walk. Lopez is on. That will extend the inning even further. And again, the two-out approach today for Hub City, the best we've seen in the series.
Last 2 weekends, maybe even you could extend that maybe a little farther as well, and more activity in the bullpen for the Smoke. It looks like Check is down there, former Texas Longhorn, left-hander getting ready.
We're seeing Wright for the first time in the series. We saw Dale for the first time. There's Estelle Check. One of the other pitchers available we have not seen. She's currently near the steps of the dugout. Is Jessica Mullins, the Texas State Bobcat. There she is.
Yeah, Mullins, you would think, would be slated to start Game 4, possibly, and so maybe that's the reason the Smoke holding her back at the moment. Of course, and Brant, you did a great job of detailing it. The only way we get a second game today is if the Adelitas win this ball game, which they are currently doing.
McKenna Brocky with a shot up the middle, knocked down by Wright, recovers in time with a throw not in time. Brocky beats it out for an infield single, And that's going to load the bases.
Boy, off the bat, that gets back to right up the middle, gets to her in a hurry, does a tremendous job of knocking the ball down. And then it was a situation, you saw it, where she really had difficulty kind of getting to that ball and picking it up. A bang play at first. Brandt, I'm going to let you play umpire.
I think she's safe. I think that's a really good call made over first base by Scott Mayer. But, again, if this were the college game, I think that would have definitely garnered a replay or a challenge. There have been several of those types of plays. We referenced a trap, or what was called a trap by Lyndon Baptiste on Friday on a call that we thought was not the right one. I think that would have been challenged, as we see.
Munoz is going to go in and run for Ellsworth.
Not just that, but Jayla Wright getting a refresher and a talk from Samantha Jakewish. So a pinch runner in. Bases are loaded out for Casey Flores. So, yeah, some calls in this series have not gone the Adelitas' way. Maybe that was an out. But, again, the call made by Scott Mayer, that call going in favor of Hub City. So here's Flores now. Bases juiced, a chance to break open the lead.
2-out hitting. 2-out RBI, so critical. Something the Smoke have done so well, and Adelitas trying to get in that game.
When Flores' eyes got big there, she wanted to go after the first pitch no matter what. Comes up empty.
You'll recall her last time up, Flores singled and scored in the second. Her single was a line shot to left field.
So Munoz at third, Peyton Lopez at seconds, McKenna Brocky at first base. The batter here, Casey Flores. A lot of power in that bat of hers. Final year at Division II, Lubbock Christian hit 19 homers. Had a big 3-run shot for the Adelitas on opening day to walk off and beat Coastal Bend. 1 ball, 1 strike against Jayla Wright. Wright's inning began so well for her. Struck out Brown, then Munoz. After that, Ellsworth banged a base hit to left, a walk to Lopez, and the infield base hit for Brocky.
See that train going by. The Adelitas would dearly love if that train had some runs on board. A 3-1 lead against a team like the Smoke doesn't seem like much.
There's that train. It is a cargo train. It could be carrying some runs, right?
Boy, something, the Adelitas, the past couple of weekends, it's just been sometimes the bounce of the ball, yeah, but with runners on and 2 down, they just haven't come up with the quality at bat you need to get runs in and to ultimately win softball games. And that puts pressure on your pitching, puts pressure on your defense.
2-2, and that's a strikeout. The throw has to be made to first, and it is. So Wright strikes out Flores with the bases loaded, and she's out of the jam. In the inning, the Adelitas put 3 on, but nobody comes home to score. This remains a 3-1 game as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning here at Bobcat Softball Stadium. The head coach of the Texas Smoke, Kat Tarvin, Second year of the franchise, first as the head coach, the pitching coach a year ago for the WPF champions in their inaugural season. Hub City playing in its inaugural season this year. The Smoke, the reigning champions. But they're down 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Coming up, hitters 8, 9, and 1. Perhaps a big moment in the Smoke's favor at the top of this inning. The Adelitas loaded the bases, but Jayla Wright with a massive strikeouts of Casey Flores. As a result, this remains a 2-run game, and maybe a moment we look back on if this game changes.
Yeah, put a star next to it. There is a long, long way to go. We have zero idea on how this thing's going to end up, but at some point we're going to unwrap this thing, and that could prove to be a key moment. As you mentioned, the fact that Wright was able to run into some traffic, not panic, and get that big third out.
Denver Bryant grounds one to her shortstop counterpart. Brocky's throw is wild. Bryant goes tumbling past the bag at first base. She didn't turn the corner, though, so she's safe. That was a scary play there. Hopefully Bryant's all right.
Yeah, and Munoz as well, the first baseman who was extending her glove hand to try to make that play. You see it right there, the collision. And that is dangerous for all involved, is Brocky trying to make that throw on the move. Obviously not the easiest thing to do.
So making sure all parties are okay. Munoz, the first baseman, and Bryant, the hitter.
Yeah, it's such a bang-bang play, too, right, where Munoz couldn't abandon the bag. She's trying to get the out. She's trying to keep her foot engaged with the bag, and she doesn't necessarily know exactly where Bryant is coming up the line because Munoz is focused on the ball, making the catch.
Just saw the double thumbs up from Bryant. She's good. Look at Brocky, the shortstop, trying to make that play. Munoz just got her glove back and shares a high five with Bryant's. That's just part of the game. These plays happen. These are competitors, but also looking out for each other's well-being. Yeah,
and maybe a difference, too, between baseball and softball is baseball sometimes you see where the first baseman will abandon the bag, make the play, and then swipe tack, try to get the runner going by. Softball, because of the condensed field, really don't have a lot of time to make that decision, make that play, and make that sweeping tag at first base. We've seen it, of course, but I think it's more rare in softball than sometimes you see baseball where those throws are longer from the left side of the infield.
That play scored as an error, charged to Brocky. Now Kelly Gooden showing a bunt, and that's ball one. Defensively, it's been a fairly clean series so far. In fact, the first error for either team in 3 games.
Mix in great plays defensively from both teams already in this game. Saw an exceptional diving play in center field by Brown is just one example. So, yeah, it isn't just that we've had error-free softball. We've had some spectacular defense at times.
2-0 to the former UCLA Bruin, Kelly Gooden, from Seal Beach, California. You get her in the base pass, she becomes a problem. 61 career stolen bases at UCLA, third most in that program's rich history. Have to imagine there's some familiarity in this matchup here. Light against Gooden. An easy non-conference game for the Bruins to schedule against San Diego State. The Aztecs, in fact, play to the Los Angeles Regional this year, hosted by the Bruins, albeit Gooden's career at UCLA since ending. Count 3-1.
It's about, depending on time of day, depending on traffic, about an hour-and-a-half drive up the 5 from San Diego to L.A. But then also UCLA kind of in the northern part of northwest L.A. So maybe you want to say 2 hours. Good job of battling back here by Light after falling behind 3 balls and no strikes. Get the count back towards her favor.
Final year with the Bruins, Gooden hit .365 in 2023. Count full with Bryant at first base. Nobody out in the bottom of the third inning. Slaps that foul.
I know Oklahoma's been, and rightfully so, the talk of college softball here for the last handful of years, but of course UCLA, a storied program. You go to Easton Stadium and you see all of the All-Americans who have worn the Bruins uniform. Quite a program.
Leadoff runner on for the Smoke for the second time in 3 innings. Gooden going opposite away and out of play near Peter again. Boy, they're just going after him today, aren't they?
I said glove. I don't know if Peter's tuned in or not, but need a ball glove. He's got his Smoke swag on.
He does his job there finding a fan. He's not keeping that for himself.
No. I bet he has a softballer too.
That ball to the shortstop. Brocky to second for 1. That's the only play that Adelitas get, but Brocky, good pick, good throw to get the lead runner. That's good for the first out.
And that's a speedy Bryant going from first to second, and Brocky understands that she has to speed up her clock a little bit. And what about Brocky bouncing back from the first batter of the inning, the errant throw over to first to allow Bryant to reach, and Brocky able to put that in the rearview mirror and make what I'm going to call a really nice play.
With this sport, you've got to put mistakes behind you, right?
Right? You have to move on to the next play because...
And now it is Gooden, and she's tagged out. What a throw from Ellsworth. Again, making her Adelitas' debut. She's reached base twice, and behind the plate, guns down. The runner Gooden at second base, tag put down by Majo Gonzalez. Bases empty and 2 outs.
Yeah, Ellsworth could not have run down there with the ball in her hand and handed it to Gonzalez any better. Tremendous throw against a really good runner.
Yeah, this is our 3rd week covering the league, and I believe that is the first caught stealing we have seen.
Gosh, Brant, you know I'm not as young as I used to be, but I think you're right.
Now, to be fair, there hasn't been a ton of stolen base attempts, but that's the first caught stealing we've seen in this ballpark now.
Yeah, we've seen runners retired on the base paths, maybe trying to take an extra base, or I know, was it last weekend we saw a runner kind of a delayed steal? That was the Adelitas against the Monarchs, as a matter of fact. That was Wesley, the pitcher, throwing out Brown, trying to sneak from first to second. But to your point, yeah, there hasn't been a lot in the run game.
As Jefferson draws a walk on 4 pitches, but think about how big that out was. If it's not recorded, if Gooden reaches safely, that's Jefferson, her hot bat at the plate with the runner in scoring position.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of looked like Light was pitching around Jefferson anyway because of her before-mentioned scalding bat.
Runner on, 2 outs for Silent Rain Espinosa. Up high and tight for ball 1. Espinosa with a sac fly RBI driving in the only run back in the 1st inning.
There are few runners, base runners, who could score on a ball that hits grass. Any ball that hits grass, Jefferson is one of them. The outfield for the Adelitas has to be ready to get that thing back in.
Light drops that one in for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Espinosa. Her final year with the Huskies with Washington. Helped lead that program to the Women's College World Series in 2023. Set career highs that year and hits an RBI. Good job by Ellsworth to smother that ball. The count runs at 2-1.
I can think of worse places to play your college softball career than Seattle.
You know, we had bad weather here yesterday. How often do rainouts happen over there, you think?
Good point.
That ball drilled up the middle and caught on a line by Destiny Brown. How phenomenal has she been in center field today? The defense for the Adelitas has turned out this afternoon. Alley Lights and Hub City protecting a 3-1 lead through 3. We head to the 4th inning. Adelitas on top by a pair here in San Marcos. We're back after this. Good pitching, good hitting, good defense so far for Hub City. Adelitas on top 3-1 on this Sunday afternoon. Good showing of fans here in the ballpark for the final day of this series. Had games Thursday and Friday. Weather canceled out yesterday's action. A potential doubleheader today. The fans hope to get their money's worth. So far, Hub City on top 3-1 as we go to the top of the fourth inning. And again, talked about the good hitting, couple of homers for Hub City. Those 2 home runs driving in all 3 runs of the day. The good pitching, Ali Light has held this potent offense to a single run on 1 hit through 3 innings, and some good defense as well for Hub City. They're having a pretty good day.
Yeah, Hub City coming into the game, we're having trouble stringing together hits, so they found a way to score. Hit it over the fence.
Majo Gonzalez leads off the 4th here for Hub City. It is Gonzalez, Bracamonte, and Bryan coming up. Batters 8, 9, and 1. In the case of Majo Gonzalez, one of several players on this Adelitas roster that played in the Mexican Professional League this past winter.
A little bit of a break here as the gate to the Smokes bullpen is open. So Jazz Hill doing some double duty there. Oh, she has
That's
to go back.
Double back.
Double sevens has to double back. Now Cody's going to run down there and help her out. Who said there wouldn't be drama this half inning?
Oh, get the lock secured, and there we go. Gonzalez fouls that one away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, we kind of just talked about the power by the Adelitas so far in this ball game. When we arrived at the booth earlier today, Brandt, if I had told you the Adelitas would be up 3-1 in the top of the 4th and Bryan and Brown would be a combined 0 for 4, would you have believed it?
No, but credit to Hub City. Give credit where it's due. They've done their part. Popped up by Gonzalez. Espinosa makes a play, 1 away here in the 4th inning. So Emily Bracamonte comes up now for Hub City in her first at-bat with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Blasted a 2-run homer to deep left, just inside the foul pole, well beyond the fence. Broke a 1-1 tie. Made the score 3-1 at the time. That's where the score stands now for Bracamonte. Her first home run here in San Marcos, dating back to last week's series against the Monarchs. Now a ground ball to Jefferson will take care of Bracamonte here for the 2nd out. But again, what a swing that was for her with 2 outs back in the 2nd.
Yeah, and on that call, as you cleaned it up, Bran, after the ball sailed out of here, you said it perfectly. The only question was it going to stay fair? Because she hammered it and was able to get it inside that fair pole. And here we are, 3-1 with sands in the hourglass continuing to fall.
Sierra Bryant 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts, facing right for the first time and takes strike 1. I liked how you called it a fair pole after I called it a foul pole. But you're right. If it hits the pole, it's a fair ball. Why do they call it a foul pole?
Yeah, you're doing the old school. It's like the argument I hear between broadcasters, fans, and others about, is it RBI or RBIs? It's been RBIs forever.
What's funny, I was about to say it's RBI.
See. And so the argument continues.
Because it's not runs batted ins. It's runs batted in.
Okay, but I've heard broadcasters fans say the count's 0-2.
Because it is?
Is it nothing balls?
Man, we're just going to disagree a lot here, aren't we? We haven't seen eye to eye on any of these so far. Fair, foul pole, RBI, RBIs, 0-2, 0-2.
So you say foul pole?
Foul pole.
Huh. I thought you were on team fair pole.
Nope. As things get awkwardly silent, Bryan takes ball 2.
One thing that Wright's been doing is she's been keeping the Adelitas silent as far as adding to the lead, because right now you look at the higher math, the Smoke are still just a bloop and a blast away from tying this game up, and they've got 4 more at-bats at least to go.
You have to wonder how much more productive the lineup will be a third time through against Light. Oh, and Bryan's got plunked by that pitch. Her bat started to go around, and the appeal down to third, and Jared Arrington said she did go around. That's a strikeout. So Bryan painfully strikes out for the third time today. And a 1-2-3 inning for Jayla Wrights on a ball that nailed her right on the thigh. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still a 2-run game. Hope Sierra Bryan's okay. 3-1, Adelitas on top. Back out in the Texas Hill Country at Bobcats Softball Stadium, home of the Texas State Bobcats out of the Sun Belt Conference, a site hosting a good chunk of this year's WPF 2024 season. 3-1 our score as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Savannah Jaquish, Charlotte Eccles, Morgan Howe, heart of the order, now facing Light for a second time. And she's pitched well. 3 innings in the book so far for Lights. The 1 run on 1 hit with a couple of strikeouts. But again, you wonder how will this lineup adjust now seeing her for a second time.
Especially a veteran lineup, right, who have been, making a note, checking it twice kind of thing. We did see Chloe Temples in the bullpen for the Adelitas earlier in the game, but right now, this game belongs to Light. This inning belongs to her.
Jake Wish turns on that and turns it foul. Counts 1-2. Allie Light, the 2023 Mountain West Conference Pitcher of the Year. One of the other broadcast partners we have in the analyst seat, Haley McKay, kind of a similar story to that of Light. Both began their careers at Arkansas in Fayetteville 1 year, and then both making a change to play at a mid-major. In the case of Haley at Texas State, for Light at San Diego State. In the case of Haley, she came back home from Texas, went to play at Texas State, but for Lights, from Lexington, South Carolina, from the southeastern part of the country, goes all the way cross country to the West Coast to play in Southern California.
Yeah, 3 time zones over. Now, I'm on record. It wouldn't take much to talk me into moving to the San Diego area. Absolutely beautiful. And one thing we don't know is we've talked about relationships here within the WPF, but also, as you know, Brant, there are relationships when it comes to recruiting and coaches and who played with who. We don't know what drew her out to, east of San Diego, to San Diego State.
Jaquish rolls out to the third baseman, Bracamonte. She's played well at the hot corner. Talked about her earlier, playing at third for the first time in the series. A couple of balls have found her, and each time she's made the play.
Exactly right. And so far, a lot of the breaks are going the way of the Adelitas. Looks like Samantha Shaw's going to go down into the bullpen for the Smoke.
Nobody on, one away for Charla Eccles. Hit a deep fly her first at-bat.
Just missed it, didn't she?
She did, and there you see Shao. As Bill referenced, she'll go to the pen with Cody, who'll serve as her catcher. What a player at the University of Florida, Charla Eccles. Talked about good plays at third. Well, Eccles, you know, we've seen her do a lot with her bat. Also a really good defensive third baseman. In her final year in Gainesville in 2023 was rated as D1 softball's second best defensive third baseman. You know who number one was? Here's your hint. She also plays in the WPF.
Vanderford.
Sarah Vanderford from Texas State.
Eccles, they're in Gainesville. If you ever get a chance, check out Florida's softball facilities, plural. You know, not just their stadium, but what they've invested in their softball program.
You go around the SEC, you know, certainly there's a lot of resources and money for those programs, but you've been to Alabama, we've been to Texas A&M, you referenced Florida. You know, a lot of the facilities are some of the best in the country.
As Texas arrives in the SEC, you and I, of course, have seen Texas, their stadium.
Ground ball, Brocky from short. 2 outs. Couple of ground ball outs induced by Lights, facing the heart of the order for a second time, and she's been up to the task.
Well, let's get a look at that again. Watch the final hop as Brocky slides to her left and gets in position. Look how this final hop kind of comes up on her. And she has quick enough hands to make the play and then the strong, accurate throw. That was not your run-of-the-mill 6-3 put-out. Might look like it in the scorebook, but that was good hands there.
Out of the plate, Morgan Howe. Ahead of ball that no strikes. A lot of ground ball outs induced by Light in this game. So important to keep the ball down against this lineup.
You're right, because oftentimes 6 home runs through the first 2 games should tell you enough, but oftentimes when the Smoke get the ball up in the air, it's going to pound the fence or go over it.
You just touched on our knowledge of Red McCombs Field where Texas plays, a softball facility, which, yes, is excellent. Oklahoma's it's pretty good, too. Arguably the best facility, definitely in terms of the fans in the country. And now they're going to be in the SEC as well.
Yeah. And already really solid, loaded conference. Got even better as you see the conversation taking place there in the circle. No activity down in that right field corner bullpen. And why would there be?
Yeah.
You know, I guess I'm going to, rebut to myself here.
This is the third time we've seen Light pitch in this ballpark this year. 2 innings against the Monarchs last week, gave up 4 earned runs. Got an inning of relief on Thursday, got touched up for a couple of runs. And today, easily the best she's pitched here in St. Marcus. That's fouled away, 2-1.
Yeah, confidence is a funny thing in anything, in sports, anything you do in life. To go into it leaning forward and having confidence, you can do amazing things if you believe. And right now, Light and her teammates are believing.
Foul back, 2-2 to Morgan Howe. Former Pac-12 player at Arizona State. Before that, a couple of years at Fresno State. Second year with the franchise. Last year's WPF Offensive Player of the Year. Finished last season with an OPS over 1,000.
And I'm going to go on record again, Your Honor. Her single in the first inning on Friday, I think really got that 10-run inning going.
Did that ball just land smack dab on the roof and didn't move?
I'd have to see it again. I was too busy thinking back to Howe's AB on Friday.
As you should. As you said, it was that hit that really opened the floodgates, coupled with that controversial no call in center. That ball's popped up and no play available here for the Adelitas. It's near Peter again.
I was going to let you say it. Peter, he needs a helmet on instead of his bucket hat.
Yeah, he needs padding today.
There he is. Put on a helmet, Peter. Take off that bucket hat.
And protect that camera at all costs. Howe up the middle to the second baseman, Gonzalez. 3 ground outs in the inning for the Smoke. And a 1-2-3 frame for Light, her second of the day. She's through 4 innings. She has held this offense to a single run. A Smoke team that has scored 25 the first 2 games of this series. A really cool moment before the game for Destiny Brown, the Adelitas center fielder, presented with her 2023 championship ring as a member of the Texas Smoke, now playing against her former team today. And the Adelitas on top of the champs, 3-1 as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Brown again from Macomb, Mississippi, played at Southern Miss. In her career as a Golden Eagle, good power numbers, 24 homers, 21 doubles, but maybe more impressive, her walk to strikeout ratio as a collegiate player in Hattiesburg, drew 118 walks, nearly 40 more than she had strikeouts, 79 strikeouts in her career.
And the way she runs, you have to think from a softball mind that anytime she got on first base, she had the ability to turn that walk into a double. You know, she can steal a base, and all of a sudden she's in scoring position, blink of an eye.
Ground ball up the middle, and that's through for a base hit for Brown. Leadoff single for the Adelitas starts the 5th inning.
And the first base runner from the 1-2 hole, meaning Bryan and Brown, for the Adelitas today. We've already seen what Daisy Munoz can do with a pitch up in the zone.
You would think with the team having scored 3 runs on top by a pair, the leadoff batter would have been on multiple times.
Yeah.
First time it's happened all game for Hub City.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of controlling Bryan and Brown, the Smoke have done that in this ball game, but it's been the pop of the Adelitas, something we have not said the past 2 weekends. That's been the difference thus far.
Speaking of pop, here's Daisy Munoz. The solo homer broke the seal on the scoring of the game with a 2-out shot to center. Batting for the second time. Batting for the 3rd time. Second time facing rights. She's 1 for 2. Right struck her out in the 3rd inning.
And if you look at Munoz, if you look at her resume, you're not shocked that she hit a home run. I think right now the Bracamonte 2-run shot is what's getting the attention of a lot of people. It's certainly the difference in the game right now.
Ground ball to the right side. Jefferson flips a second. Bryant back to first. That's not in time, and the Smoke settle for the 1-out. But kind of a gamble there by Jefferson. That ball was not hit all that hard. That was almost a situation where you don't get any outs.
Yeah, especially with Brown running. You know, Brown got there in a hurry. Bryant does a nice job of getting to the second base bag to be there to catch the throw. That's confidence, right? Jefferson, that's not the first time she's had to execute that play.
Again today, Jefferson was not with the Smoke last week, was with Team USA playing in Oklahoma City. Team USA this week is in Japan.
We didn't get asked to do those games?
No, we did not. You know, wonder what summers are like there.
Well, it's the opposite, right? It's the opposite of this hemisphere. Like right now in Australia, it's winter.
All
Are
right.
you setting me up?
Enough out of you. I'm going to Google this.
Speaking of weather, though, right now the wind has picked up significantly, blowing in from right center. Not sure if we can get a shot of that, but that little breeze we referenced about 45 minutes ago, I'm officially calling it wind now. Look at that. Texas flag on the right. Stars and stripes there on the left.
It's 83 degrees
Where?
in Tokyo.
But it's winter.
Okay.
That's their winter.
I don't know if I believe you. That's a ground ball through the left side for a base hit for Taylor Ellsworth. Again, what a game she's had. Has a caught stealing as a catcher, a couple of base hits and a walk. And so two of the first three batters have reached here. 2-1, only one out for the Adelitas, and a good swing there by Ellsworth.
Nice addition to the Adelitas roster, huh? Not just what she's done with the bat, but also behind the plate.
Out of the plate, Peyton Lopez takes a strike here from Jayla Wright. 3-1, Adelitas on top. A run of the first, two in the seconds for Hub City. The Smoke got their lone run at the bottom of the first inning. And now Hub City out hitting this Smoke lineup 7-1.
I didn't have that on my bingo card. But we remember the Adelitas had a chance to play add-on in the third inning. Bases loaded, 2 down, and unable to add to their 3-1 advantage.
And now Kat Tarvin comes out, calls for time. She's going to visit with Jayla Wright here. You look back into the bullpen for the Smoke. Samantha Shao is there but not throwing right now. Estelle Check is getting loose in the Smoke pen.
And Check has been, as we remember, Check's been throwing down there for a while.
We didn't see Check throw against the Monarchs week 1 of the season. Another University of Texas product like Taylor Ellsworth who just had the base hit. And just wrapped up her Longhorn career about a month ago, helping lead Longhorns to the Women's College World Series Finals against rival Oklahoma. So after the timeout from Kat Tarvin, right back to work here against Lopez. 2 on, 1 away. Swing and a miss. The conversation worked, I suppose. 1-2.
Yeah, able to ride that pitch up and in. Nice pitch. Munoz, the runner at second base. Just keep in mind, Hill, Gooden, and Howe in the outfield are outstanding. Just because ball hits grass, it's in no way a foregone conclusion Munoz can come in and score unless it's a gapper.
Wright trying to work herself out of a jam here the 5th inning. Lopez doesn't chase that 2-strike pitch. Looked really tempting out of the hand of Wright. But now the count evens 2-2.
That's a high-level take there to be able to spit on that pitch. You're already in protect mode, of course, with 2 strikes. And Lopez understands there's a couple of runners on. Puts even more pressure on this AB.
Another really tough take for Lopez, arguably tougher than the last pitch she took. That ball did not miss by much.
Well, you might be able to hear the Smoke fans, a.k.a. umpires in the stands. Might be able to hear them in our crowd mic.
Count fills to Lopez. He's already walked once in the game. Full count from right. Struck her out looking. That pitch right down the middle. Lopez frozen at the plates, and now 2 outs.
Yeah, if you're right and she did it right there, you've got to challenge the hitter. You can't try to be too fine, especially after you saw the previous 2 pitches. You don't get the call, and not sure if Lopez was guessing there, expecting something else, but tough pitch to take with 2 on and 2 strikes on you.
Brocky fouls off the first pitch. Scorched an infield single off of right. Back in the 3rd inning, she's 1 for 2. And again, a 2-run lead. But if you're the Adelitas, you want some more breathing room here. You know that Smoke lineup more than capable of making up the deficit. If you recall, too, Hub City left the bases loaded back in the 3rd inning. They got 2 on here. And now Lyndon Baptiste visiting with one of the Adelitas' assistants. And they're going to bring in another pinch runner. So Peyton Lopez will pinch run for Ellsworth, and that, I believe, will end the day for Ellsworth. She's been taken out of the game now twice.
And it'll probably be Lopez who puts on the gear and goes behind the dish. Right now, Lopez the DP. We'll say this. With 2 down, Munoz at second and Lopez at first, you get the added advantage of being off with the crack of the bat.
Well, there's a wild pitch from right to the backstop. And so now you mentioned if the ball reaches the outfield, you know, would it score any runs? Now it might score 2.
Boy, enormous, right? We've mentioned over and over the free bases that are given up.
1-1 to Brocky. Got a big chance here, and she takes a ball just up. Had the plates, but elevated from right. Count runs at 2-1. Brocky a chance to maybe double the lead with a base hit. Big spot here for Jayla Wright in the circle. Snap throw back to 3rd. Back in standing there is Munoz. 3-1. Got to be really careful here if you're right.
Yeah, Brocky can take the strike zone. Brocky, the batter, can take the strike zone, and she can shrink it immensely. Looking for one speed, one spot.
If you walk her, that brings up Flores with the bases loaded.
Again.
And with this moment looming so large, Mason's going to come out and visit with Wright here.
Boy, I hate calling timeout with 3 balls on the batter. Here, if you're the defense, keep your pitcher in some kind of, flow. Obviously, Mason thought there was something important enough to have this conversation, take the break, and go out and visit with Wright. That's just my personal opinion.
Hitter's count 3-1. Flores awaits on deck. Does Brocky take the bat off her shoulder? She doesn't, and takes a walk to load the bases.
Well, I feel like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day here. Bases loaded, Flores up, 2 down.
Well, there's Munoz at 3rd base. Lopez at 2nd. Brocky at 1st, and that, I think, is going to be it for Jayla Wright.
It's the Adelitas who call the offensive timeout, having the meeting between home and 3rd base.
Yes, I beg your pardon. That timeout not called by the Smoke. Thought it was, and that would lead to a change, but it is an offensively called timeout here. So here you go. 2-run game of the 5th inning. Adelitas trying to end a 6-game slide. Also trying to snap the Smoke's 6-game winning streak. They've been humbled the first 2 games of the series. Lost the opener on Thursday 11-0. Lost game 2 Friday 14-0. Today easily the most competitive the Adelitas have been. They have the lead and a chance to really expand upon that right now.
Not exactly sure what the conversation could have been. Maybe just a reset there for the Adelitas offensively. Make sure the runners, batter, know the situation, the outs. If the ball gets hit here, here's what we're going to do. If it's hit over there, here's what we're going to do.
Flores ahead, a ball and no strikes.
Wright has lost the strike zone here recently.
Feels like she's nibbling right now as well, not getting to the calls.
Yeah, not getting the 50-50 calls and then missing out of the zone.
And again, a win in this game. Hub City forces a fourth game of the series. That's down for ball 2.
Boy, Wright gives a long look in there. Thought she got the knees. It had the plate.
And some more groaning can be heard in the stands. Perhaps some thinking that strike zone shrinking a bit for Lyndon Baptiste. Does Flores have the green light? No. Ball 3, 3-0. Now with a 2-1 lead and the bases loaded, does the green light come here?
You take. Not only do you take, the way Wright's been struggling, I wouldn't be surprised if Flores takes 2 pitches. Again, that's me.
There's a take for a strike. Flores for a moment thought she had a walk. Call made in the inner half of the plate, 3-1.
I might take again. I don't know the folks watching out there. I might even take again. Make Wright prove that she can throw back-to-back strikes.
Here comes the pitch, 3-1. She does take and takes strike 2. A ball that definitely had the plate. Flores, though, thought it was a little bit up.
Yeah, I think a few of the Adelitas. The Adelitas have fans here as well. Think of the runners. The runners get a head start here.
From 3-0 to 3-2. Swing and a miss and struck her out. Big time pitch from Jayla Wright. Fell behind, 3 balls and no strikes. Battles back to strike out Flores for the second time with the bases loaded. This remains a 3-1 game and a huge opportunity goes by the wayside for Hub City. The Smoke trailing by just 2. Allie Light back in the circle. 5th inning of work is coming up for the former San Diego State Aztec. Her team leading 3-1, but that lead could be larger twice in the game. The Adelitas have left the bases loaded both times. Casey Flores at the plate, both times striking out against Jayla Wright. And in the last at-bat, the top of this inning, was ahead 3-0, but Jayla Wright battling back and strikes her out to end the threat.
Yeah, what does that say about Jayla Wright's ability to hunker down, refocus, and execute pitches? So, and we're not wrong. The talk about the Adelitas, their ability to get some stuff going with 2 outs today, it's true. However, there's a however.
So
3-1 is precarious.
So we're still getting accustomed to some of the rule differences with WPF and the college game. In the college game, when you're subbed out twice, you're done. But here in the WPF, that's not really the case, as we see Ellsworth is back in the game at catcher. She's been subbed out twice for a pinch runner, but she's back there with the catcher's gear, so she remains in the game. And there you see Ellsworth, who again has played really well, both at and behind the plate today. As we see Jazz Hill lead off here for the Smoke, trying to get their offense going, held to a single hit, just one run. Both the hit and run came in the first inning. Hill takes a strike here from Light, 0-1. Allie Light has retired 4 in a row. The only hit, the lead batter in the game. Janae Jefferson a double in the first inning.
Yeah, now that I think back to it, and you mentioned the variations in the rules, but that would have been a bold move by the Adelitas.
And Hill with a base hit off the glove of Bryan, trying to get there. Hill's going to motor on his second base. A leadoff double starts the Smokes' 5th inning.
So to finish that thought, it would have been a bold move by the Adelitas to remove Ellsworth, who's done so well at the bat, but also in helping to control the Smoke with her ability to throw from behind the plate. It would have been bold to remove her from the game. And I think today the Adelitas have 15 players available, with a few of them being strictly pitchers. So I understand why there would be that flexibility in terms of subs.
Pinch hitter up here, Jada Cody, pinch hitting in place of Elizabeth Mason. And Cody takes a strike, the former UCF Knight Cody. 1 for 2 with a couple of runs batted into the series, also has a walk. And batting for the first time today after the leadoff double hit by Jazz Hill. Cody representing the tying run. Again, we have not seen a lot of drama in this series because it's been so lopsided in the Smokes' favor. But there were some huge at-bats and pitches we just saw in the top of this inning, and you feel like we're going to see more before this game is done.
Yeah, this is a big at-bat. Cody, worst case scenario, when her at-bat's over, it has to result in Hill being at third base. Find a way to get the runner over. You see Grimm's actually on deck. She's going to be coming up. And, you know, something we didn't really talk about a lot, but the starting lineup for the Smoke today looked a lot different than it did Thursday and Friday. Grimm's a good example.
Mason, Bryant, Gooden all getting starts.
Bruni not in the lineup today so far.
1-2 pitch, hit towards left center field, and there it goes. Tie game. Jada Cody, in her first at-bat today, delivers a 2-run shot, and now it is 3-3.
It seems like for what, an hour or so we've been talking about precarious lead, bloop and a blast, and think about it. Cody's been either in the dugout or warming up pitchers down in the bullpen. She grabs a bat and does that.
And that is the 6th homer of the series for the Smoke. Brand new game, 3-3. Can't help but feel as if the Adelitas had some chances to really put a lot of pressure on against the Smoke and build that lead, and the inability to come through twice there with the bases loaded, keeping the Adelitas run total at 3, and for the Smoke it takes one swing to erase it.
Yeah, and it doesn't take away from the job that Light's done up to this point, and it's still her ball game. But it's how long can you control this beast that is the Smoke offense.
So again, Grimm hitting right now. You're wondering about Anna Marie Bruni, who does play center. I thought that maybe we'd see her as well this inning bat, because Kelly Gooden's spot is due up, but Gooden is in fact in the on-deck circle, not Bruni right now.
Grimm's had a nice series to this point for the Smoke as well.
Grimm with a fly ball, left field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Bryant, a diving attempt to get there, can't. Grimm winds up at second base. The inning has started with a double, a homer, and another double. And what a start of the fifth here for the reigning champs.
Yeah, speaking of doubles, that is Grimm's third double in the past couple of games. She comes off the bench, grabs a bat, and immediately produces. Great effort by the left fielder there, Brian.
And now timeout called by Hub City. It has been quite the fifth inning sandwich at the plate here for the Smoke. Again, the doubles around that homer hit by Jada Cody. And now the go-ahead run is swing position with nobody out, and the top of the order looming after this next batter, Kelly Gooden.
Yeah, and let's take our viewers in for a little secret conversation. But one thing that we've had in terms of talking about the WPF and the Smoke, and with others as well, it's the depth of this Smoke roster. 2 of the 3 hits this inning, again, have come from people who have spent time in that dugout for an hour and a half or so.
Now, we were just discussing Anna Marie Bruni. It was good in the on-deck circle, but now the change made by Kat Tarvin. Bruni will hit here in place of Gooden. So Mason, Brian, Gooden, all getting starts. We didn't really see them in the first 2 games, not much of them anyway. But the 3 bats we had seen more of now all come to the plate here in the inning. Cody, Grimm, and now Bruni. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, and this is after Light. This game, an hour and 45 minutes old. This is after Light has been working and battling and fighting. And these batters, these vets coming up now, have been over in the dugout, and they've been watching Light, watching her pitches.
Ground ball to the left side, Brocky. And that throw not in time. Bruni beats it out. Infield base hit, puts runners in the corners. And the offense keeps coming here for the Smoke.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a smidgen of hesitation by the shortstop, just there, an extra shuffle. It was good base running by Grimm, who kind of served as a screen there, interference in front of the shortstop. And Bruni, we know, runs well.
So here comes Janae Jefferson, top of the order. Hitting for a 3rd time now. Jefferson has solved Light twice, a double in the first, a walk in the third. And she can give the Smoke the first lead with a base hit here.
Yeah, partner, I was just going to ask you, if you're in the Smoke dugout, who would you rather have up right now?
Nobody else. Bruni takes off for second. Throw from Ellsworth. Not in time. So Bruni right into the game and testing Ellsworth right away.
Yeah, Brocky almost was able to reach back with that swipe tag, but not able to get the speedy Bruni. Now, of course, this takes away the force play.
Off the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Adelitas would love a pop-up here, would love a line drive right at an infielder.
Again, working the plate outside. Light misses the strike zone. The count to Jefferson, 2-1.
When you pitch around Jefferson here, I know you have first base open, but you've got Espinosa, Jaquish, Eccles looming on the horizon.
That ball to left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Smoke have their first lead. Bruni to third base. Jefferson to seconds. To the plate comes Grimm, 4-3, Smoke on top. 5 straight hits to open the inning here for Texas.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to say Jefferson hit that ball as much as she just kind of punched it, served it into left field. Another great effort by Brian in left field, but can't keep it off the grass.
So a lot of well-hit outs early in the game by the Smoke, but now the ball is finding grass. In the case of Cody, finding the outfield fence. Now it's time to ring Espinosa, trying to play add-on now to a 1-run lead. Runner second and third, a ball and no strikes.
And the fact that Jefferson heads-up base running, was able to scamper over to second base. Again, it takes away that easy out possibility, opportunity there up the middle. I wouldn't be stunned if Espinoza was bunting in this situation.
Meanwhile, activity picks back up in the bullpen for the Adelitas. Chloe Temples, the starter on Thursday, getting loose right now.
How quickly this game turned. If you went to get some popcorn or a hot dog and came back, the game's dramatically different.
And he can't help but feel that had Flores come through with a base hit in the top of the inning with the bases loaded or drew a walk, whatever the case might be, bring in at least another run, then maybe everything about the bottom of this inning is different.
Yeah, we'll never know, right? It certainly feels like the complexion would have been different. And that's a credit to Wright, her ability to buckle down when she was in that situation with the bases loaded, 3-0 count.
3-1 to Espinoza. Gets the green light here and fouls it away. Count feels 3-2. It just kind of feels like the Smoke are destined to have at least one of these types of innings every game.
They've done it since the start of the season. You go back to the championship game win against USSSA, 14-2 win in the championship game to sweep the championship series. It's just they've picked up in 2024 where they left off that game.
The one loss so far for the champions this year came on a Sunday a couple of weeks ago against the Texas Monarchs. Jaden Vickers able to solve this lineup. Held the Smoke then to a couple of runs, struck out 9. Only blemish so far in the season for the Smoke. Overcoming a 3-1 deficit here. On top 4-3 as Espinoza walks to load the bases. With the heart of the order now coming up. Jake Wish at the plate. After that, Eccles and then Morgan Howe.
I don't want to be overly dramatic. I've been accused of doing so at times, but you know, was that a loss to the Monarchs or was that a wake-up call against the Monarchs? Because since then, my goodness, no panic today in this Smoke group, even though they've been down 3-1 seemingly for a long, long time.
A workmanlike approach here for Jaquish. Has rolled up the sleeves. She's ready to go.
Former LSU Tiger, speaking of SEC.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Now 2-0. And we raise the question again of red light, green light here. Light just walked the last batter. You would think then you're taking on 2-0, but now you have the lead, nobody out. Maybe you see Jaquish take a chance here with a swing.
Yeah, at minimum, she's going to shrink the zone.
Surprisingly takes that one for a strike, but you always say you want that one spot maybe a little bit too low for Jaquish's liking.
Yeah, maybe she was looking for a fastball there, and she said to herself, okay, if I don't see fastball, I'm going to let it go.
Two-one. Jaquish with a swing that time, evens the count 2-2.
So you have a bull, a horn, and a husky on base with a Tiger trying to drive him in.
Hadn't thought of it that way. LSU's all-time RBI leader, Savannah Jaquish, more than 260 in her career. Been playing professionally for a long time, dating back to 2017. Big spot for the vet here, 2-2, fights it off. She's also played with Athletes Unlimited, the NPF. He also coaches the game. Coaching stops at her alma mater of LSU, Colorado State, and Utah Tech.
Look at the speed on the bases right now for the Smoke. Just take a glance, Brant.
A lot of it out there. Espinoza,
right?
Jefferson, Bruni.
There's a lot of room down the right field line as well.
Jaquish, fly ball, right field, and that's going to bounce off the warning track. All that speed around the bases. Bruni, Jefferson stopping at third as Espinosa. 2-run score, and it's 6-3.
Nice hitting yet again. How many times have we said that this half inning as Jaquish takes that pitch on the outer third, goes the other way. Flores actually does a nice job of getting that ball back in. Initially off the crack of the bat, I was thinking to myself, well, Espinosa with her wheels, she might come in and score.
Now that's going to be it for Allie Light. She was so good through 4 innings in this game. But then those pinch hitters come through. Here in the 5th inning, back to the top of the order, seeing her a 3rd time and finding some success. And with that, Light's going to head to the dugout, going to bring in Chloe Temples here. You can't help but feel for Allie Light, Bill. Again, she had pitched so well. Their defense playing so well. Had enough offense to carry a lead into the 5th inning, but runs into trouble here in the 5th, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know that I can add a lot to it, Brant. Light was able to execute her pitches. She got some plays from her defense. She got some atoms, meaning balls hit right at her defenders at times. But you still sensed, because you and I have seen the smoke many, many times now, you sense that the clock was ticking. And sure enough, in this inning, good decision there by the Smoke coaching staff. Went with a couple of pinch hitters. Cody, she brought the thunder immediately after Cody. Next pinch hitter, Grimm does her thing with the double, and so on and so forth. And once the floodgates open with this Smoke offense, I mean, my goodness, we saw the Smoke put up 10 runs in the 1st inning on Friday. Need I say more?
You know, but some of that, again, you know, was that missed call in center field, that huge 2-out hit for Howe, just getting enough of a break or a piece of the ball to keep the inning going. In this inning, with 5 runs already scoring, there have been no outs. There hasn't been a case like that, and the balls have all been very well hit. There hasn't been anything aiding the Smoke in this inning. It's been all them.
Yeah, and what the Smoke do, like all really good teams do, you know, irrespective of sport, of game, is they take advantage of mistakes.
So you look at this inning so far for the Smoke. How did we get here? Entered the inning down 3-1. Jazdale leadoff double kind of got the offense going. And then the pinch hitter, Jada Cody, with a 2-run bomb tying the game. After that, a bloop double hit by Maddie Grimm. Anna Marie Bruni with an infield base hit. Janae Jefferson follows that with a base hit to left, driving in the go-ahead run. 2 batters later, Savannah Jaquish driving in 2 more. So all of this offense here, 6 hits, 5 runs have scored, and nobody out for the Smoke here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and the extra base hits, right? It's one thing that we said that the Adelitas were really struggling with is coming into this game. Hub City, they were having to string together multiple base hits, and against really good pitchers, sometimes that's easier said than done. Well, the Smoke are hitting the ball off the wall or over the wall.
So Chloe Temples in the circle now for Hub City. Had a rough outing in her start on Thursday, gave up 7 earned in the inning and a third. She's wrapped up her career at BYU. Did pitch well in this ballpark last week against the Monarchs. 10 strikeouts in a little more than 13 innings. Facing Charlotte Eccles here, runner 2nd to 3rd. Nobody out. Eccles takes a strike from Temples. 0-1. Eccles today 0 for 2. Count evens here, 1 ball, 1 strike.
You have to be careful in right field. I look out there, and Flores playing a relatively shallow right field, despite the fact that Eccles, she has gap-to-gap power.
Borderline pitch that Eccles takes for ball 2, 2-1. Named all WPF a year ago in a first season with the Smoke last year. A former first-team All-American at Florida. Looking to extend this 3-run lead. 5 runs already into the inning. And still nobody out. 2-1 pitch, hammered to center field. Brown, though, will make the catch in front of the warning track. Deep enough to bring in another run. Scoring is Jake Wish, 7-3, the lead.
Good at-bat there by Eccles. Did her job. Get that runner in from third with less than 2 outs. I know Eccles would have preferred, a base hit, but does her job by driving in the run and building that lead to a 4-run advantage that could be proved to be big.
I said Jake Wish, beg your pardon. Espinosa scoring the run. Jake Wish at second. First out of the inning, but productive as Morgan Howe comes up. Out a 7-3 game.
What about 15 minutes ago? It was 3-1 Adelitas, who were looking good. Looked like they were kind of taking ownership of the game. And snap of the fingers.
With 7 runners left on, looming so large right now for Hub City. Been kind of a story of their season so far. Tells you just how close this team is. Again, we mentioned that of the 14 runs the Smoke scored on Friday, 13 came with 2 outs. Tells you that 1 pitch, 1 ground ball, 1 play away from getting out unscathed so many times on Friday. And offensively, getting runners on base hasn't been the issue.
Nope.
It's been bringing them in.
Rinse, repeat.
Popped up by Howe. That's out of play. You and I have made this comparison in other sports before. The pro level, the gap really isn't that large. You see that at the collegiate level, the haves and have-nots. But in the pro ranks, whether you're talking about the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, professional softball, there's not a huge gap between these teams. Sometimes it comes down to things like a single play, a single pitch, a single swing.
Yeah, situational type stuff. And another thing the Smoke do is, as Howe whiffs there, but they don't have a lot of strikeouts, right? You're going to strike out in games, but they don't have that crazy number of strikeouts, especially in big moments. That's only the 3rd strikeout today for the Smoke.
The first 2 games of the series, they struck out just 3 times.
Right? So they're making what? They're making the opposing pitcher, they're making the opposing defense earn everything and anything.
Brings up Jazz Hill, batting for the 2nd time as the Smoke have batted around. Led off the inning with a double. And before this inning, again, a single run, only 1 hit for the Smoke, and they've really turned on the Jets here. Six hits, 6 runs here in the 5th. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hill. Runner second base. That's Savannah Jake Wish. Had a 2-run double earlier in the inning. That ball lined to right. That's a base hit. Off the wall it goes. Around third comes Jake Wish. To second base goes Hill. Throw gets away. She'll wind up at third. 8-3 Smoke. A 7-run inning.
Absolutely crushed that ball. Munoz, the first baseman, hardly any time to react. And then Flores gets a friendly hop off the fence, and her throw in. Thought they'd have a chance to maybe get Hill going into second. Brocky not able to make the scoop, as we saw. Give Hill credit. Hill, reading the ball, immediately pops up and scampers into third base.
So how about Hill? A couple of doubles in the inning.
Some players would like to have 2 doubles in a weekend, right?
Right. And what a series she's had. So Jazz Hill, a couple of doubles today for the series. 5 for 7, a homer, 3 doubles. And now 4 RBI. One could argue that the game turned on Jada Cody's home run early in the inning. Yeah, Hill had the leadoff double, but Cody brought her in, got the scoring started here in the 5th, and it really hasn't stopped.
I've heard some people say that coming in as a pinch hitter is maybe one of the most difficult things to do in sports, and you're right, Cody. What an AB.
And you knew it too the moment that ball came off the bat.
Oh, see you later, right?
Yeah.
There was no threat of rain today. There isn't right now, but there had been rain clouds. Might have started raining again.
Rolls out one to the ground. Bracamonte from third. A little hop in her step as she makes the throw to finally end the inning. 10 come to the plate, 7 score off 7 hits in the inning to include Cody's 2-run homer. And the Smoke have turned this game around on its head. Into the 5th, down 3-1. They head to the 6th, up 8-3. We're back after this from San Marcos. After the Smoke put up a touchdown at the bottom of the 5th, scoring 7 times, they take an 8-3 lead into the 6th inning. And also new pitcher is in. The day started with Jordan Dale in the circle for the Smoke. After that, 3 innings of relief from Jayla Wright. And now the ball into the hands of Estelle Check from Downers Grove, Illinois. Pitched at Texas for 3 seasons. In her final year with the Longhorns this year, more than 58 innings for Estelle Check. ERA of 2.26 and a key part of the team that reached the finals of the Women's College World Series.
Yeah, went 8-4 in the circle for the Longhorns in her 3 seasons up in Austin, a record of 31-10, a 2.78 ERA, 183 punch-outs in her Longhorn career in about 250 innings. Actually started her career over in Raleigh, North Carolina with the Wolfpack of NC State. There's another player, Brant, who started their college career at one place and moved to another.
Yep, that's today's college athletics era. So we go to the top of the 6th. Majo Gonzalez leading off. First pitch of the day from Estelle Check is in for a strike. Jayla Wright, 3 innings of relief for the Smoke. 3 scoreless innings, scattered 4 hits, strikes out 5. And none bigger than that one to end the top of the 5th inning at the time. A 3-1 lead for Hub City, bases loaded with a good hitter, Casey Flores. That strikeout, you could feel the momentum of that really carried into the Smoke dugout. The lineup came up afterwards and banged out 7 runs.
Yeah, we've seen that before, and that's a great point, partner. Not only did that shut down the Adelitas offense, but jump-started what we saw from the Smoke. And one of the great things about sports, one of the fun things about sports is you can do the what-if game all day, and this game is going to have some what-if moments.
Drops it in for a strike, and Gonzalez strikes out for a 2nd time. Estelle Check, welcome to the game. 1 up, 1 down.
I said it Friday and Thursday. When the Adelitas fell behind, I was like, okay, you can't try to hit that 5-run home run. But, you know, I'm thinking right now for the Hub City dugout, what are they feeling?
Well, Bracamonte's good day continues. She's played well at third and a good day at the plate. That's her 2nd hit. Of course, that 2-run homer of hers back in the 2nd inning. And a one-out single will bring us back to the top of the Hub City batting lineup.
Hub City, they do have a couple of few bats that they would want to have up in this situation, and it starts here with Brian.
Although a tough day for Brian, 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts, takes ball 1. More on Estelle Check, close to 250 innings of work at Texas, a career record of 31 and 10, and more than 180 strikeouts. And you know, every senior day is special for each player and the reasons they have for being around family and the support group around them to get them to that point. Well, for Check, in addition to a special day, her senior day, final home game as a Longhorn, that same day her boyfriend, Jared Wiley, football player, Texas, was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Not a bad organization to go to. There is activity in the Smoke bullpen. Somebody really familiar with that bullpen down there. Looks like Jessica Mullins, former Bobcat, is down there getting ready.
And there's Samantha Shaw also tossing right now. Brian lines one to right for a base hit. And so, back-to-back singles here for Hub City, trying to respond after the 7-run inning put up by the Smoke.
Yeah, the feeling that Brian was due after, as you described it, having a really difficult day so far. And you're right, Brian. I'm sorry, that's not Mullins down there. That's Shaw down there in the Smoke bullpen.
All right, so 2 on now. And Destiny Brown comes up. Some big bats due up here for Hub City, trying to chip away at the 5-run lead. As Check drops in a strike against Brown, a 1 for 3 day with a single. And a strikeout back in the 3rd. Pop up by Brown. Infield flying effects. That's good for the 2nd out. 2 away in the inning for a Hub City team that after today will go back to Lubbock as they did last week following their series against the Monarchs, and they'll make the return trip to San Marcos either next Wednesday or early Thursday.
Yeah, I think I heard from the logistics folks with the Adelitas that they'll be coming back Wednesday. So, yeah, that 380 miles, another quick turnaround that you and I have talked about quite a bit. It does take something out of you, though, right? If you're an athlete, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what sport.
Now, there is the potential of a second game today if Hub City were to win. With the Smoke win, we've been told that'll be it for the day, it for the series. If that is the case, then the amount of games across the league will be even. 3 weekends for all 4 teams, 11 games each.
I want to encourage folks, you folks tuned in, be a lot of softball WPF action going on here in San Marcos this upcoming week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Get on out here.
And for those not in the area to attend, all 8 games next week will be available right here on the official WPF YouTube channel. 1 ball, 1 strike to Daisy Munoz. Started off the day with a homer. A solo shot to center back in the 1st inning off of Jordan Dale. You got the sense with that home run, this is going to be a different type of day. And for a good chunk of the game, it felt that way. A game that was going Hub City's way. But then that 7-run 5th changed everything. Munoz with a swing and a ball that got away from the catcher. It's not Mason anymore. It's Jada Cody now catching with the Smoke, and both runners advance.
Good read there by the base runners for the Adelitas. Bracamonte saw it down in dirt. And then Brian plays follow the leader. If you're that runner at first base, you have to make sure, absolutely have to know that that runner in front of you is going.
Ground ball, that's through for a base hit for Munoz. Drives in Bracamonte. Behind her is Brian. Munoz comes through again with a 2-run single, and again with 2 outs.
Have yourself a day, Daisy Munoz. When talking about the Adelitas and the difficulties and the two-out situations, unable too often, just couldn't come through with runners on, and nice job there with 2 down. We're going to have a runner over at first base. Think that's Fernandez going to run for Munoz.
And she will.
Good inning put together here by the Adelitas. Think about what their emotions must have been after watching the Smoke put up the 7 spot and go in the lead. A lot of teams would have shut it down. A lot of teams would have said, hey, wasn't our day today, let's head back to Lubbock. But give credit to Hub City.
All 5 runs for the Adelitas scoring with 2 outs in this game. Impressive stuff. And you see a big swing there by Munoz with runners on, which again has been such an issue for this team all season.
A big swing by Ellsworth here could change the complexion of this game.
Talked about Ellsworth earlier, drafted by USSSA Pride in the NPF draft, wearing their helmet right now. She swings and misses here. 0-2, and here you go, another matchup between former college teammates, Ellsworth and Check, couple of former Longhorns.
The former Longhorn at second base, Jefferson.
0-2, has a plate but low, ball and 2 strikes. Hub City knew it had to respond after the 7 runs scored by the Smoke in the 5th. They've done so with a couple of runs here in the 6th. But a team down to its final 4 outs, needing some more offense as Ellsworth is hit by that pitch. She's on for the 4th time today.
And that brings the tying run up to the plate. And if there's anything that Lopez has shown us the past couple of weekends, she has a little bit of pop in her bat.
You wonder how much longer that leash is for Check. And as we'll see, Destiny Brown pinch run for Ellsworth at first base now. So a couple of pinch runners on the base paths. Jace Marie Fernandez at seconds and Brown at first.
Well, let's remember last inning, and heck, you go back to the 3rd inning, the Smoke staff left, right in the circle and trusted her.
First pitch, high for ball 1 to Peyton Lopez. Lopez 0 for 2, a walk and a couple of strikeouts. As Bill says, she represents a tying run. In there for a strike, 1-1, 19 career homers her time at Portland State. And she's got some power. She was the NSCA Strength and Conditioning, or was an NSCA Strength and Conditioning All-American this year at Portland State. That ball line just foul to the rights, and the count's 1-2.
Flirting with a double down that right field line. Fernandez at second, Brown at first with 2 down. They'll get a head start. You do have a tremendous outfield for the Smoke, though. It'd be tough for Brown to score from first on a base hit.
With this lineup just swinging with a lot more confidence today than we've seen the last 2 games.
Looks like a different team, doesn't it?
It does. 1-2, fouled back.
She was on it.
You could see how a team would be deflated after what just happened to Hub City in the bottom of the 5th inning. You know, maybe pack it in, but they haven't done that here.
Yeah, I was saying, you know, some teams would have packed up their bags and said, which way's the bus?
1-2, and Lopez just got a piece of that. McKenna Brocky awaits on deck here for Hub City.
Good pitch by Check. Tried to run it up and in. Tried to get some swing and miss, and Lopez just got a piece.
That time struck her out. High in the zone, Lopez can't lay off, strikes out for her 3rd time. A couple of punch shots for Check, but also a couple of runs in the inning for the Adelitas. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning in an 8-5 game. Smoke playing for a 3-game sweep. Jimmy Ward, as Adelitas head coach, has to be pleased with the fight her team has shown today. They've really taken it to the reigning champion Texas Smoke, taking a 3-1 lead heading into the bottom of the fifth inning. And while, yes, the Smoke responded in a huge way, scoring 7 runs, her team again with a response, scoring twice in the top of the sixth inning. A big 2-run single hit by Daisy Munoz has made this a 3-run game. For Chloe Temples, her job right now, Bill, keep this an 8-5 score and give the Bats a chance in the 7th.
Yeah, it still have an opportunity to pull off some magic in San Marcos, Texas. But, you know, to your point there, this is an expansion team. There's going to be some growing pains, some growth involved for the Adelitas. Everybody trying to learn what everybody can do in terms of strengths and weaknesses and how they can contribute to a winning organization. You just have to keep putting in the sweat equity and the wins will start happening. I mean, you have a catcher in the game right now who wasn't with the team, 3 days ago.
Maddie Grimm sends a pop-up a mile into the air, and the second baseman tracks it down. Majo Gonzalez for the first out. The catcher, Bill, is referencing the jersey numberless Taylor Ellsworth behind the plate. And what an acquisition she's been for this team. Against only a game for her in her Adelita's career, but she's been on base 4 times, hit by a pitch, a walk, a couple of singles, a caught stealing from behind the plate. And moving forward, this team's going to get back in the playoff hunt. Ellsworth could have a big part in that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's to come for not just her, but how it impacts the Adelitas, starting with Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Anna Marie Bruni challenging Gonzalez, and Bruni's going to beat it out easily.
Speed kills. Bruni pounds that into the ground, and then it's a race, and Bruni oftentimes is going to win that race, as she showed right there.
Give Gonzalez credit, she tried, but Bruni's speed, that would have been a difficult play for any second baseman to make. And Bruni has legged out a couple of infield singles since coming off the bench. Back to Janae Jefferson. You talk about elusive outs, and that has been Jefferson in this series.
A bunch of her teammates you could say the same thing about, but think about Jefferson and Hill in particular, the Longhorn and the Aggie.
You think they discussed the rivalry much?
Do you wonder, right?
Runner goes, ground ball snagged by Temples, a glance at seconds, but with the runner going and no play. But Temples, how about that pick in the circle for the second out?
Yeah, and talked about fielding your position, and you can see Temples, initially she's thinking, okay, I'm going to get the force out at second, but Bruni, speed to burn. Good decision there by Temples to get an out somewhere.
Talked about the Longhorn-Aggie rivalry, long and storied. It was renewed at the NCAA tournament this year in the Supers. Arguably the best super regional in the country this year, went 3 games, saw the Longhorns win, and now those two about to play each other every year in SEC play.
Boy, around this part of the world, this part of the country, the state of Texas, and that means a lot.
Southern Rain Espinosa batting. Runner second base and 2 outs. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. Espinosa officially 0 for 1 with a walk, an RBI and a run scored.
State of Texas already high level college softball going on with Texas A&M here. Texas State, Baylor, talked about them as well. But how much will that help to grow the sport even more in the Lone Star State?
1-1 to Espinosa, slices it foul. Don't forget Texas Tech program has struggled, but you just said it with Jerry Glasgow coming in to take over. Maybe that program about to be on the rise.
Yeah, you can't have enough eyes on this sport. So much excitement, so much talent.
One ball, 2 strikes to Espinosa. Ground ball to the shortstop, Brocky. She has played well at short today. Makes that play to end the inning. And the Smoke can't add any insurance to their lead. We go to the 7th. Adelitas down to their final 3 outs, trailing by 3. We're back with the top of the inning after this from Bobcat Softball Stadium. We head to the 7th inning for the first time in the series. The Smoke had run-ruled the Adelitas in both games 1 and 2, but here in game 3, the Adelitas have been competitive against the reigning champions. On top 3-1 going into the 5th. The Smoke, though, with a huge 7-run 5th inning to take an 8-3 lead, but the Adelitas battling back, scoring twice in the 6th. The Bats now have a chance in the 7th, down by 3, and coming up, McKenna Brocky, Casey Flores, and Majo Gonzalez trying to rally back and salvage a game of the series and perhaps force a 4th and final game here in San Marcos.
And Brocky, not a bad option to lead off the inning, 1 for 2 with a walk today.
And I said it, in the last half inning, her defensive short today has been exceptional.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And for right now, the Adelitas, it's about getting people on. Want to get that tying run up to the plate.
1 ball, 1 strike to Brocky. Now Gonzalez's spot is due up, but Justice Perry's in the on-deck circle here for Hub City. We were talking about SEC play earlier. Brocky, her conference, the Mountain West, playing at San Diego State. In her final year as an Aztec, or a year ago, I should say, 2023 as a junior, hit .371 in conference play. Facing Estelle Check for the first time today, and the count even 2-2.
If you're Check, the thing is one of the ways you can get in trouble is to give up walks here. You want to make the Adelitas earn anything and everything.
Brocky to the shortstop, Grimm. And 1 out here in the 7th inning.
Good pitch there. Good play by Grimm at short.
And I beg your pardon, I was describing Perry in the on-deck circle for Gonzalez, not for her, but for Casey Flores. Tough day for Flores, Bill. Had a single in her first at-bat, but after that, strikes out twice, both times with the bases loaded, with Hub City leading at the time 3-1.
Yeah, everybody's been there, right? If you've played this sport, you have to be able to flush it. Easier said than done. Have to give credit for Wright in both instances for making her pitches.
Perry in the series 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. And she's fallen behind here, 0-2. Gonzalez is in the on-deck circle here. As Bill said, the Adelitas in need of base runners. Down 3 and down to their final 2 outs. Down to their final out. Check with a strikeout of Perry on 3 pitches. 2 down here the 7th.
Yeah, Check is following the roadmap, right? A savvy veteran pitcher. She's had the ball in her hand many, many times, and she's just pounding the strike zone. Saw some emotion there at the end after that strikeout by Check.
Nobody on, 2 down. Gonzalez takes ball 1. Majo Gonzalez 0 for 3. She struck out twice. And she's now facing Check for the first time. Or the second time, I beg your pardon. In fact, Gonzalez, the first batter Check faced when she came into the game with a 6 and struck her out.
There's more than one way to do it, but one thing I like, and I'm sure her teammates like, one thing you see about Czech is she gets the ball back from her catcher and she's ready to go.
Foul back, and now Hub City down to his final strike.
Yeah, Czech gets the ball and she takes it as though she's got dinner plans. She's got a reservation.
Gonzalez just stays alive. If she can reach, that would bring up Emily Bracamonte, who was hit really well today. And after her would be Sierra Bryan.
That's why the Adelitas need base runners, to add even more drama to what's been a drama-filled game.
1-2, and a swing and a miss, and a strikeout ends the game and ends the series. The Smoke at a 3-game sweep against a very game and competitive Hub City team here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think Hub City, on the way back to Lubbock, they'll have some positives to take from this game, but I know one positive that the Smoke will go home with is their never say die attitude. Never thought they were out of the game, waited till the bats got going, and when they did, it was explosive.
Now, a big story for the Smoke. Yes, that 7-run 5th inning, but on top of that, some great pitching as well. The starter, Jordan Dale, 2 innings in her start today. Of the 6 outs she got, 4 of them strikeouts. Then the ball went to Jayla Wright. Wright, 3 innings, she strikes out 5. No strikeout bigger than the one of Casey Flores with the bases loaded in the 5th inning. At the time, her team down 2, and Estelle Czech comes out of the bullpen and records a few strikeouts of her own. The pitching today for the Smoke, very strong.
Yeah, no doubt. Regardless of what traffic was going on behind them, beside them, you're right. Wright and Czech in particular, they were able to get the job done, and it results in another big win for the Smoke, who sit atop the standings.
Yep, that trio of pitchers, Dale, Wright, and Czech, combined for 13 strikeouts on the day as they win the series 3-0. And again, we have plenty more WPF softball coming for you next week. A doubleheader all 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right here on the official WPF YouTube channel. That's going to wrap up our coverage of this game and of the series. For Bill Colhane, I'm Brian Freeman, saying so long from San Marcos, Texas. The final score, the Smoke 8, the Adelitas 5. For more information on the WPF, log on to WProFastPitch.com. This has been a presentation of the WPF. Until next time, good night from Bobcat Softball Stadium.